Hi, I'm Emily, and this is going to be my rhetorical analysis project. This is my non-text-based artifact, and it is a drawing, a digital art drawing. The author of this image is Anthony Sharing, and the exigence, it shows the topic of depression and how people can be struggling and no one will know. I think the motivation behind this piece is not only to spread awareness that people have battles that no one knows about, but to also look within ourselves and see if we relate to this at all. The author was definitely trying to create emotion and, motivate us and make us realize, is this happening to me or anybody I know? The constraints of this image is that it's a black and white drawing with not too many details, so that kind of constrains the message, but in that sense, that also encourages the audience to read into the drawing themselves and look deeper into it. The conventions of this piece is that it's a black and white image, it's dark, it's sad, the monster coming out of the kid is scary and messy, and that matches with the idea of depression because depression is a dark and scary topic, so this image kind of creates the tone for the topic. For the genre, it's digital art. The author chose to speak to the audience through art, which is a very powerful method. It can be used as a form of an escape for people with mental health issues, so it might even speak to those people more. The audience of this image is us, but specifically people dealing with mental health issues because they can resonate with this and they might have had to deal with this before. The purpose of this image is to look into ourselves and to see if we have any connections with this image, if we've ever felt like this before. It depicts people who have mental health issues because they might be alone and they can't always ask for help. So definitely to look into ourselves or other people that we know and see if us or anybody else could possibly be dealing with this and kind of to spread awareness. For the ethos, the author is a clinical social worker and has been for the past 10 years. He graduated from Hunter College School of Social Work, and the author's image shows that from his work, he understands how people hide their problems and probably has heard about this issue many times when dealing with the people that he works with, because he works with people who have depression or anxiety or struggling with other mental health issues. And the audience he's catering to is the people that he deals with every day. So his work is credible because he went to school for this and he deals with people who face this issue every day. The pathos of this image is that this drawing brings out emotion because obviously it's sad, especially if you can resonate with it, you understand how the kid in the image is feeling, and the kid is shown to be struggling but is staying silent about it, and that brings out emotion in people because majority of us have dealt with issues like this and we can understand that it can be a personal struggle as well. And also that's a big issue in the psychological community because there's high demand for psychologists but there's not enough help to go around. And it's just the deeper meaning, and it shows not only is someone hiding about their problems, but they might not even be able to seek help with them. That's a different way that I interpreted this drawing, and it just creates a lot of emotion because when people who have felt this way and can't get help, like, they can understand, and overall it's just a sad topic. It really creates like a lot of feelings when looking at this, especially if you can resonate with it. The logos of this image is that people tend to suffer in silence. The image shows that this is the case because the kid is telling their friend that he's fine, when in reality you see a monster coming out of the kid saying help, pain, and sad. So clearly they aren't fine and they're just pushing their problems away. And although it's a picture, it doesn't state any facts or statistics, but that's how the author chose to show that fact of the image through his artwork. The drawing is appealing to the audience's logic by clearly showing the kid is struggling and not speaking out about it. And according to the National Institute of Mental Health, in 2020, there were 52.9 million adults with any mental health issue, but only 24.3 million received mental health services. So that's less than 50%. And so the medium art can be very expressive and very interpretive. This image is black and white, which is dark, and people who have a mental illness can use art as an escape, which makes this even more special to them. And art is subjective, yes, but there's an obvious meaning to this, obviously, but at the same time you can dive deeper into it like I did, and I'm sure other people who struggle with different mental health issues may view the image differently than I did. So it's different and it makes it subjective, but it's also specific to each person. For my text-based artifact, I chose this article from Science News, which talks about how the pandemic affected young adults' personality development and might have caused issues with depression and anxiety. And so that's what this is about. I'll also be showing different clips of the article throughout the slides. The author of this article is Sujata Gupta, and actually a researcher who is mentioned in this article is Dr. Sutton, who actually works at Florida State, so I found that cool. The exigence is that COVID affected many people's development and mental health, and everyone was affected by COVID, so in one way or another, so many people can relate to this. The author was motivated to write this because so many people can relate to this, and if they've noticed any changes in themselves, they could actually benefit understanding where their problems came from with mental health. The author was overall just motivated to write this to spread awareness to people. And the constraints are that it's a scientific article. There's not a lot of room to create emotion, and it's geared towards more younger people who the article is about. And younger people have shorter attention spans and might just skip through it. But overall, it's hard to create emotion in a scientific article that people can resonate with because it's so fact-based. The conventions of this piece is it's an article, so there's no imagery, but the tone is serious. It's trying to get the reader to pay attention and say, hey, this is a problem a lot of young people are facing. The genre, it's a scientific article. The audience is younger people because that is who is affected the most, which might not be the best way to get young people's attention through a scientific article, but it definitely is the most informative way. The audience it could be anyone who dealt with the pandemic and its consequences, but it's specifically more about and for those who are under 30, because that is the group of people who showed the greatest change in personality traits after the pandemic. The purpose, like I said, it's a scientific article. It incorporates scholarly research. It's meant to educate and inform people about the issue. The author's purpose could be even to help people because they are bringing awareness to the problem that the author is talking about. So if people notice any changes or are confused, they could understand a potential reason for these changes. For ethos, the author is a social sciences writer. She was a science journalism fellow at MIT. Her work appeared in The New Yorker, Discover, Scientific American, NPR, etc. So she's a very credible author, and she also incorporated research from Dr. Sutton, who is a PhD professor at Florida State University. So the research also included makes this article very credible. So the pathos is that many people around my age can definitely resonate with this article, and I can too, because I've definitely seen changes in myself after quarantine, specifically with my social skills. Also, the fact that quarantine was a very lonely time for some people, and that the effects of the pandemic can be linked to anxiety, depression, and feelings of loneliness, as the article said. So just the article itself and the facts of it definitely bring out emotion in people, because it's a sad topic that, people were lonely and their personalities might have changed, but also certain phrases in the article brought out a lot of emotion. For example, one was, "You'll never get your senior year of high school back," and that creates sadness because it's true. People missed out on many important milestones in their life. So, we all endured that. It definitely brings back memories and sadness. So the facts of this article and also some of the phrases that were used definitely bring out emotion. For the logos, this is a scientific article. It's logic-based, and it refers to credible research. The article mentions the survey that was conducted and how neuroticism scores in young adults surpassed the pre-pandemic level of neuroticism, and the author used research studies to appeal to the audience's logic. It gave them facts, statistics, so not only did they mention, hey, the pandemic affected people, but it provided proof of research studies that, showed how people's personalities were affected post-pandemic, which appeals to the audience's intellectual side. For the medium, the tools the author uses to convey their message is facts and statistics. There is some emotion presented through quotes, like the one on the screen and the one from the last slide, that cause sadness and worrisome because we don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but overall, there was logic, reasoning, data, and research in this article. So that's the end of my project. These are the sources I've used, and thank you for listening.